Coach, new studio.
So much fun. Same me though.
But different me. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the cave.
Let's go.
Presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Never ordinary at DNVR. Look at us, fellas. A new Studio B.
There's so much
space. I can race Vogt like Kenny Smith style.
Ooh, that's our next studio. We're working our way up.
There's so much room for activities.
Yeah, there is so much room.
A lot of room.
We could probably play Twister back there.
Let's do it.
We could probably play it.
That's segment 3.
That's
Bunk beds, Eric.
Let us know what you guys think in the chat. Shout out always to D-Line designing everything that's the view here, and shout out super producer Gail, who has been scrambling for the last, I don't know, week or so to put this thing together, even early, but beyond that planning. But the last week putting it together.
Yeah.
How's it feel, fellas?
I like it, man. Got a lot of room here for activities, like you said.
Yeah.
Smells good.
It smells great in here. I guess that doesn't come through, but
The carpet smells good. The floors smell good. It also looks pretty good too.
Wynn's a super smeller, it would appear.
Yeah. We should roast him for that.
Oh, it looks great, though. I love it. We have a great show for you today. We had practice today. Practice has been fascinating, really, since the coaching change. I just feel like there's something new. It's like we're watching a new movie, new scenes every single day. So we're going to break that down. We're going to continue our series talking about each player in this matchup with the Clippers and what's going to be asked of them, expected challenges. And then we're going to end by talking about Fred Katz at The Athletic had a very interesting profile on Christian Braun's apprenticeship, I will call it, under Nikola Jokic, that I think has kind of brought to some clarity to me about Jokic's leadership, this nebulous concept of Jokic, the weird leader. We're going to break all that down. Brennan Vogt, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Oh, man, it's another gorgeous day in Colorado, and it will be that way for the foreseeable future, right? Which is awesome. So I woke up in a beautiful,
Look ahead.
sunny Denver, Colorado. Went to practice. What a treat.
Oh, man.
What a treat.
This is what we do, right?
This is the official hand gesture of our show. We all do this in different ways. Harrison Wynn's in the building.
I just noticed about this new studio, the new host one shot.
Really?
There's 4 people on.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that. It's just a camera on Adam.
You know what? Come in a little closer.
you
Gail.
look great, too.
Come in a little.
And then
everybody.
all 3 of us just have to share one camera.
Well,
What's up with that?
We'll have another kid. Listen, it's the first day. All right? Calm down.
I'm just observing and asking
Cal, you
questions
made a great
here.
decision. Don't listen to Harrison. You chose exactly how to break it up. Rounding out the show, D-Line Co.
That's right, guys. I have been to Home Depot. I've been to Michael's. I've been to In-N-Out.
Michael's.
And at the end of the day, kind of
Your
sweaty.
Lakers jersey.
A little sweaty over here.
That's
all there is to it.
I smell it.
You know who else is
Shout
sweaty?
Mando.
The Denver Nuggets,
No
because they have
bourbon
been
leather.
pushing themselves. Oh, yeah, we're still going. The Denver Nuggets, who have been pushing themselves in practice lately with great energy. Let's go to some notes here from practice. Feel free to chime in here, Vogt. You were with me there. I break it down into themes now because I think it's a little bit more fun to go thematically than just player person by person. But one of them is obviously this idea of reconnection. Connection, we're on day like 10 since Adelman's here. Connection has come up every single day. You know that is like front of their minds, this concept of connection. So reconnection, trust, emotional readiness. DA says the reason we've won the way we have the last few years is because the trust in that locker room. We need to find the joy again. And we keep talking about this. We can go quickly, but I am picking up this idea of like we have found our joy, but sometimes phrased as we need to find our joy. I just wanted to point that out.
I think it just speaks to that we were right about what was going on with this team for the whole year.
Shocker.
I mean, David Adelman has been saying everything over the last couple of weeks that we said all season. This team's not connected. They don't have any joy. What's going on? We thought we knew, we did know, and now like we really know what was going on behind the scenes and why that joy wasn't there. But establishing that as the first step to being back.
I think sometimes too, when you start talking about those things when a team is struggling, I think some people who see the game a particular way, or maybe they're far away from the team, they think, oh, now you're just philosophizing. Now you're just throwing buzzwords out there. It's about basketball and the roster's not good enough. No, this stuff matters. And I think it was validated in they changed coaches. That message came in hot. No, we were not connected. We need to be. And I would say my biggest takeaway in covering the ascension to a championship and then possibly the disintegration of that is that this stuff matters a lot. And so if you're a local reporter, if you're new and you're on the ground, like pay attention to this stuff as best you can, because connectivity is a huge, huge part of what is ultimately still a team game.
Are you calling somebody out?
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm just saying, like, I learned.
Do we feel? Are we connected?
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying I learned that over the years that, like,
Oh God, am I getting fired?
that this stuff means something, right? That it's not.
Well,
just,
I mean, like, listen, the Denver Nuggets are not lacking in basketball anything really. Like, defense you could say, but like they have shown they have enough to win a championship. Like the connection is what was missing. So of course, like that makes sense that they hit that over and over and over because that's like the thing they have to fix first and foremost. So it's good. I love it.
Also, just talking about sort of the moment they're in, DA reiterated, we're not a 1 seed, we're not the 2 seed, but we did earn home court advantage.
I think he had that line yesterday too.
He's going to it, man. There's a couple.
Is he already out of material?
This is the thing is that with Malone, we knew all of his little rhythms, with DA, we don't.
He had that same line yesterday.
We might have a little bit of a circling back. CB did say we don't want to waste a year of the 3-time MVP. This has obviously been our theme, but I do always enjoy the various players that acknowledge that.
Yeah,
Aaron Gordon is acknowledges it. Michael Porter acknowledged it, by the way, today too, in some small way. CB echoing it. I do like that the whole team sort of rallies behind the sense of like, hey man, we have something special and we owe it to that guy. And I think enough of them have that.
I think it's an interesting way to reframe to this Jokic and then everyone else.
Yeah,
It's take this as a privilege to be one of the people in a position to do this alongside Jokic and to help Jokic get to that spot. A privilege, but also a responsibility and an obligation. And that, I think, as a competitor, I think it's a little different than just, this guy's good and the rest of you don't matter, right? It's like, this guy's good and your mission as a part of this team is to play your role, to be locked in, and to help him and ultimately you guys get where you need to be.
Yeah. Another theme that kind of emerges here is that there's a sort of demand at the moment for identity flexibility. And some of this was prompted through questions. I had a question for MPJ about the relationship between sacrifice and connection. Because to me, those two things are together. You can't have connection without sacrifice. It's sort of a prerequisite. He knows that as well as anybody. And I think that's something that's been going on. So one, Adelman reiterated this idea of that they're going to have to try some things they have never done before. He said that again. This was a similar thought, but a different way stated, of we're probably going to have to do some things we've never done before. We need to be flexible going into this playoffs, more so maybe than we have been. And then Michael Porter, he says that's what great teams do, fall into the niche that helps the team. We've won. Guys have signed their contracts. Now it's just about winning. That note to me was more about like where the distractions, focus, and sacrifice are at. And in his perspective, he's almost acknowledging that, throughout the course of the year, there are things that make that more difficult. But the playoffs, it's like, hey, guys, now it's time to put all of that down. All of us have to kind of lock into this.
Yeah.
Guys have signed their contracts. That's interesting.
Well, I don't think he's fully locked into everyone's contracts because it's not true.
Yeah.
And it's actually a storyline. But this is Michael Porter's words.
Yeah, Calvin Booth did not sign a contract.
Oh boy.
Mike's locked in.
Well, I think, he's like,
Mike's contract.
Well, I just don't mind. Well, I mean, honestly, one of the storylines, CB playing for a contract extension, Peyton Watson playing for a contract extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. This I'm just loving hearing what it's like, what the players are, the types of things they're saying, like that they're thinking. I don't know. I just like the vibes I'm feeling coming out of this squad. Like it's giving me feel even better, and I already felt great. Like,
well, it's just fresh. It's new, and obviously David Adelman's a huge part of that. But
The guys love him right now.
and it did feel like this team and just the messaging had become stale.
Yeah.
And if we felt that, I can guarantee you the people inside the Nuggets locker room felt that too.
Yeah.
A lot.
And now it's new and fresh and new concepts. No, we're going to switch things up more. We're going to be more dynamic. So I got to think the players are feeding off that too.
I mean, we simply haven't heard a lot of these kind of buzzwords or quotes all year. We just haven't.
Yeah.
And that became jarringly clear once we started hearing them again. You go, hang on, man, I haven't heard this stuff in a calendar year. And it's not the same to me as when they were walking around this time, 2023, trying to convince each other to take it one day at a time, because I think they all kind of knew. But this is a little bit more of, guys kind of want to answer questions right now. I think guys
that's wild.
I think guys are a little less just sort of bummed out to be there.
There's no question to me. That's definitely the vibe about it. And this one to me is most interesting to me because I know everybody's like, okay, we get the spirit of it. It's new energy, it's new leadership, whatever. There is some tactical things, and one of them, as stated in the very first game against Sacramento, was not going to Jokic as much or not being willing to play through him. And I asked David Adelman about that today, and his response just about like, was that something you discussed with Nikola? Like, hey, I think we should play through you a little bit less. And he said there are moments when we want to give Nikola a break from orchestrating every possession. He acknowledged that some of that comes down to the defensive end, that maybe not making him carry such an offensive load saves him. Although, and you can correct me if you're wrong, I almost felt like he was acknowledging that with almost making it sound like it's actually not much of a factor.
Yes.
That's kind of how I felt. He's like, yes, it is some of that, but as in like, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's the other thing too is when you can start saying about what's ideal, about what you'd love to have in terms of a more balanced approach and a different type of usage, is there are then going to be games and moments in the playoffs where actually you do need Jokic to just do that thing a bunch as well, right? So like there's a huge balance of, you don't necessarily want to be predictable. You want everyone to feel involved. You want everyone to feel confident when they take that shot. But you don't want to back yourself into that corner too much either, because if it's time to play the Jokic card, it's the best card in the league to play.
Such a good card.
Yes, really
It's our favorite card.
It's my
You could have said
favorite
the
one.
Joker card, just FYI.
Yeah.
That's an actual card, a
yeah.
Joker card.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. But to your point here, though,
is
he
his
did
nickname.
expand on that. And he says Nikola is always involved. He has a great feel for when he needs to push and when he can let others initiate. And I think that's his way of acknowledging, like, we think this is our best, like, top level strategy. But there will be moments when we have to go back to that button. And he is entrusting Jokic, like, yes, we had conversations before that. We're having conversations throughout. But he also didn't want to overly acknowledge that this was like collaborative. It was more that like, yes, I know what Jokic thinks and feels. And then acknowledge that Jokic knows when it's time to kind of step into a more, all right, let's just get it to me. But here's what's interesting, Wind. He says it's not about taking the ball out of his hands. It's about giving him different kinds of touches and letting others carry the creation load at times. The others carrying creation load, I think we get that. Other people now have more freedom to drive and do stuff. But other kinds of touches, and he specified,
Interesting.
we don't always need him coming up to set the screen.
Yes.
Sometimes we want him down on the block
Where he's
or doing
unstoppable.
But it's almost like I think he comes up in the old system so much because it's like, can we trust the ball to get into him in these moments? And I think that's what he's saying is like, we're putting you down here, and if teams do something else, we're going to counter it another way, other than have you just leave the post to come get the ball.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of just this offense looking so old and like regular and normal, and just like it hadn't evolved, you felt like, over the last couple of seasons. It really hadn't. It was too much of the same thing too many times down in a row. Like it just had not evolved. It had not taken steps forward.
Well, I mean, to whoever's credit, it was a really good offense. You know, like it really
was. I think it should be better than it's been, though.
But that's just it. Is that like you can improve, and it's also just keeping the other team on their toes. You can just, you know, if you can do things that end up causing on the defensive end live ball turnovers. You do things that just keep. Like you can't just have the other team just lock in like we're doing this because we know they're doing that. You know, JJ Redick won't sleep for 2 days if they run into each other again. They'll have to think about like the litany of potential things that they could do. But I mean, yes, it's crazy that Jokic is almost never on the block, and unless they're running the play. But unless they're running the play, but he has to get himself there. He catches it and then he just backs a guy down. He's never on the block. And I mean, my God, there's no more dominant guy in the world than Nikola Jokic, but he's dominant from everywhere. But I'm really like, that's the most fun thing about this playoffs is that there's just so much unknown, but it just feels like Christmas time.
And it's also really awesome because
Feet are too
David,
It's impressive.
for everybody asking in the comments, we will still be in the Toyota Lounge very often throughout the playoffs.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is just
this-
our
this-
other
these are
main
the-
studio that is too small for Adam, apparently. We're already finding that out. But what's really cool about Adelman is also that he's an offensive guy. You know, he's been the offensive coordinator. So he's constantly thinking about where can I put Jokic in the best position to maximize him.
Different kind of touches to me is just so exciting because, to your point, Jokic can do literally everything, and sometimes having him do the same thing too often, it's like, are we leaving something on the board? Like,
Yes.
all punches. And this reduction of Jokic in terms of touches, I actually don't think it's a reduction. I think it's actually just more of a different than reduction. And maybe that early in that Sacramento game manifested as reduction, but I actually don't. I think now we have clarity. It's more just moving him around the chessboard. Which is so cool, man. And Adelman has such clarity of thought. We have to take a break here, but that's one of the things I like about him is he articulates that idea in a detailed, precise way. It's like an abstract concept that he has the ability to pull forward immediately, articulate it, and you're like, oh, this guy really understands what he is seeing and thinking, and it's awesome. Let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to talk about the stakes and the challenges for Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic in this Clipper series.
There we go. Shout out to Lucy Nicotine, 100% pure nicotine. It's always tobacco free. And Lucy Breakers are nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. You can get a subscription for Lucy. You can get it delivered straight to your door. You can level up your nicotine game and your nicotine routine with Lucy. Lucy.co, lucy.co/DNVR. Use the promo code DNVR to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Lucy.co, use the code DNVR to get 20% off. Again, Lucy Breakers, what are they? Nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. You can get a Lucy subscription. Just like you can get a subscription for everything, you can get a Lucy one as well. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Game time makes getting to...
Did you do that one?
No.
That was me.
Hey, let's start over. Game time makes getting tickets even easier, even for the hard-to-get playoff seats. If you have not been to a playoff game, what a treat. Get yourself there, especially to see your Denver Nuggets. And luckily, between the Nuggets and the Avs, the Denver Denizens have had quite a lot of chances to go to playoff games. And now you'll get another chance to go to Ball Arena to watch your two favorite sports teams, the Avs and the Nuggets. You can use the Game Time app, which has the Game Time picks filter. Basically just filters out all of the fluff, so you're looking at only the best deals. And here's the thing about Game Time. These prices are honestly going to go down the closer you get to tip off. So
You can play ticket price chicken.
ticket place, yeah, exactly. With all those people that are maybe or maybe not going to a playoff game. So even if you haven't just made a big purchase ahead of time, pull up the Game Time app before the game. You never know. You never know who's going to sell last second, and you can be the one to snatch them up for the best price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code DNVR for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right, we're back here, segment 2, live from our brand new studio. Let us know what you think. Somebody in the chat said, I feel bad for you guys. You have to talk about this team every day. I don't, what?
It's been one of the best things that's ever happened to me. The best thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, you know what? I appreciate it. We appreciate the sympathy. We'll power through it.
I feel
find a
bad
way.
for us too, but just because of, sort of like the mental anguish I live in for no good reason.
Feel bad for our Bulls people. They have a
And
tough
our
job.
76ers people.
Yeah,
and
or
our
our
Babs
Babs
people.
people.
And our
Babs
Babs
people.
people.
We really are just wrecking the league behind the scenes, not
know.
meaning to.
Somebody should do a study on the
The ALLCITY effect.
how good your podcast is versus how good your team is.
Oh, that is a good one. That is a good one.
I don't know. Last 5 years, I don't think any team's won more than the Nuggets.
Okay.
That's true. Is it us?
Is it?
I mean, the numbers say, but Aaron Gordon, guys, in this matchup is a very interesting one. I have the key challenge for him is a kind of an obvious one, although I think it's a two-way one. Actually, there's three things, but I'll start with the obvious one. Can he slow down Kawhi? Right now, everybody's talking about Kawhi Leonard, and people forget he is among the best playoff performers of all time. And so this is sort of an opportunity to say, hey, man, if he's just not that, then that Clippers team is back to what they were for most of the year, which is pretty good.
Also pretty good.
Well, yeah. But I mean, pretty good.
Somebody brought up a tweet to my timeline earlier today. It was something I tweeted 2 seasons ago. It was at the beginning of the 2023 season, the year after the championship. And it was like Aaron Gordon holds Kawhi Leonard to 3 of 13 shooting.
Let's go.
When he was the closest defender. And I mean, it was a masterpiece from Aaron Gordon that game. I think it was an early season Nuggets Clippers game. And he locked Kawhi Leonard down. You know, Kawhi maybe a little better now than he was back then. Maybe AG maybe a little worse defense. I don't know. Is
Kawhi better right now than he was in 2019?
That was 2023.
He's better in that he's
healthier. Yeah.
maybe a little. Seems like he's pretty good, playing pretty well right now. But AG has that in him. You know, he has the ability to be a lockdown defender on Kawhi.
I mean, truly, it's like one of his. I keep saying this. It's like if you look at the best defenders in the league to go up against Kawhi Leonard, like Aaron Gordon has to be in the top 5. Like he has to be a guy that you look at. They're very comparable physically, just from a sheer size standpoint. Kawhi's not going to be able to bully him at all. And he's not faster than AG. I mean, like I really see it being something where I don't believe that you can neutralize Kawhi, but I do think you can severely limit what he's able to do. Like,
I think you can live with it. I think there's something about like Kawhi's really, really, really good, but it doesn't sort of like break Denver's defensive game plan the way other players and talents do. More particularly like a pick and roll combination that puts them into rotation.
He doesn't make his teammates that much better. I
think it's just more like the style of the way that he's good is something Denver can deal with, right? Like AG, I think is defensively like hanging out, like being strong in the mid post, kind of like sitting on guys who just look to get to their spots, not necessarily blow past you. I think the front office that brought Aaron Gordon in and the front office they have now feels really good about Aaron Gordon in those matchups. And if they're tough lawn 2s that he hits, so be it, right? But I think Denver is a team that feels like they can trade 2s with other teams. And so in that sense, it's not that Kawhi doesn't scare me. It's that the way that Kawhi is good, I don't think causes Denver to unravel the way other best players in the league do.
If Jokic got shut down or meaningfully slowed down by Zubats in game 1, we would all have a concern about it. I think we would believe he'd bounce back in game 2, but it would certainly be like, dang, man, that's a tough defender for him. And now he got him in a game. I think the same is true for Kawhi and AG. If AG goes into this game and they've been riding this Kawhi high for the last month.
Kawhi high.
They've been riding it for a month. If you go into game 1 and it's like, oh, Kawhi had his worst game in a month. Is it AG? Like that sends it changes the emotion.
Here's the other thing that's like worth talking about is that the Clippers have gone on this big run in the part of the season where most teams aren't necessarily at their best, trying the hard. We just saw the
fakest part.
We saw the Bulls go on a big run, and then we saw what that amounted to last night.
Oh, they came back to within 15 in the fourth quarter.
Big so 3 sad. Cuts it to 15. I know I feel terrible, but I'm just saying, like, I believe that the ascension of the Clippers is a little bit fake. I think it's like a little bit. I mean, it's not nothing, but I think it's. I think it's
not what it seems.
Yes, and I don't think they are the juggernauts that they look like if you just look at the stats leading up at the second half of the season and what they've been able to do over the last 19 games, whatever they are. I'm really interested to see how this all plays out, but I don't know. I feel good about the matchups and the way like this specific way that it breaks for the Denver Nuggets and the way that they match up against the strength of the 76ers, the Clippers is just, I don't know. I feel good about
You're going to get clipped so hard for that.
Kill me.
I think so that's the first question is the Kawhi piece. I think the second one is, can he punish the Clippers inside? This is one of the things about the Clippers is that they have all this length and athleticism, but they don't necessarily have girth. You know, like, they have Zubats.
Zero girth.
They have Zubats, but outside of that, are you going to have Derek Jones Jr. take a rotation at him? Are you going to have Kawhi guard him, which might be exhausting? Are you going to play Batum on him? You know, if he's able to go. AG's stronger than those guys. And so can Denver set the table? Because I don't think it's just on AG, but it is about setting the table defensively with everyone else. So it's like, yeah, guess what? You are being punished over there too in a way that you're not prepared for.
I think back to that Nuggets Warriors series a couple years ago when it was really just Jokic against the Warriors. And every game that series really was determined by if Draymond Green could stay out of foul trouble. And they had Kevin Looney on it. They had some other guys on him. But like, could Draymond Green guard Jokic effectively in the fourth quarter? And if he wasn't in foul trouble, yeah, like Golden State was probably going to win that game. I feel like that might be the similar case with the Clippers. Like, if Jokic gets a couple early fouls on Zubats or AG gets a couple early fouls on him, the Clippers have to completely change what they do. They don't have a backup center.
It's like the Portland series in that way, where Jokic spent 3 quarters just trying to get Nurkic in foul trouble. He wasn't super efficient, but he just knew in the fourth quarter he's fouled out, and we're going to beat him by 15 points.
Their backup center is Drew Eubanks, who doesn't play.
Yeah, he's also
Even
just
when
too
he's
small.
playing.
He's 6'9".
I think too about, remember when in that Miami matchup briefly early, there was the Caleb Martin is not big enough to guard Aaron Gordon. And they did that a little bit to start that series. And there's a little bit of that, I think, with Derek Jones Jr., right? If that's a matchup and they're guarding Jokic a certain way, you talk about attacking it different ways. Like maybe it can just be like, whether it's in transition, Aaron Gordon work early and seal, or like you just get to attack one-on-one here because this guy can't guard you. Let him work in the post a little bit, because Aaron, we think of him as this glue guy for so many reasons, but when there's a mismatch, Aaron is a very, very effective offensive player. And so I wonder if his size on Derek Jones Jr. is a nice sort of alternative route of attack if Ty Lue has some Jokic stuff up his sleeve.
This is a great series for the Nuggets to get back to their identity of being a big team that beats you up in the paint.
Yep.
That's where they can win this series. And they just need to take it to Zubats and Leonard and Derek Jones inside and just be the stronger, bigger, tougher team.
Exactly.
But moving this forward, the last thing for him is, will he shoot the ball well? Because it's been a huge storyline of how different he is this year. And I do suspect his 3-point shooting will also be a swing factor.
Yeah.
I would think it would probably be it'll probably be a lot less effective than it was at its peak this regular season. I mean, I think Aaron Gordon has clearly leveled himself up as a shooter. I don't think it's just numbers. He has a replicable release that looks smooth for maybe the first time in his career. I still think if I'm a defense in the playoffs, I'm daring Aaron Gordon to hit open shots and beat me.
Definitely.
So I feel confident in wide open corner threes, but that doesn't mean I want Aaron Gordon like pulling up off the dribble above the break like 8 times or whatever.
Here's the stakes though, D-line, and this is what I want you to answer on. Because I'm trying to think the stakes for everybody as we're in this transitionary period. A bad series or a loss, will we start to worry about him being on the downside? Because that was part of the conversation earlier. And if this doesn't make an impact on Kawhi, or is the offseason all about, is AG over the hill?
I mean, I think everything's on the table, and it's really the play that we see is going to establish all of that. But I think the larger point that you're making is that like nothing is sacred anymore with the Denver Nuggets. They've shown themselves to be a little bit. They're not as much the institution that we thought they were. Obviously, Michael Malone is no longer with them. I think anything and everything is on the table if they go out there and they flame out early. I mean, I don't expect it, but I do think that the opposite is absolutely there as well. Like there's real opportunity for true David Adelman rebirth. Like the pregnant man is prescient.
It's an AG.
I heard we were actually thinking about putting that emoji right there next to John Elway.
To your point though, that is an important one, because the stakes, there's always another side to it, which is what if he plays well? Then it's like, oh my God, he's actually better.
Yeah.
Is he going to be like LeBron, played a 40? He's actually got 4 more years of prime, which is, again, it's 2025, maybe.
I mean, I don't know what to make of so many parts of this regular season, because both Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon looked so like athletically flawed and then athletically dominant, and it just depended on the game that you were watching. I don't know how much of that is just like their bodies are and where they are in their aging process, or if they just they just both hurt their legs at various points through the year.
Yeah.
But
I think that could be a storyline with AG because the injuries were such a prevalent part of his season.
But are they gone? Like, are they totally gone? Sometimes it semes like he's completely over it, and then one game later, it's like, wow, he's slow.
Yeah, they just need to fire a coach.
I would suspect
finale ooping again.
I would suspect we see both versions of that in the playoffs. I suspect there are some nights, especially if they've gotten some rest or if they've taken care of a series quickly, which I'm not expecting. You go, man, AG looks great tonight. Yeah. I think there might also be nights where you go, man, AG doesn't have that lift, doesn't have that drive.
Yeah. All right, that's AG. He's an interesting. I kind of feel good about AG though. I feel like he's had this.
How do you
intensity.
not feel good about AG? He's
because
dope.
his year was, to your point, injury riddled, and it was down.
Injuries. The number of finale oops I saw in the last 3 games. After I went on a whole thing saying how fake the Clippers resurgence was, in the half. But the difference being is the Clippers have never put it together. We're trying to see them do something they've never done, which is be dominant for a long period, including the playoffs. The Nuggets won a scant 2 years ago, and they just need to look like themselves, which they haven't for a long time. But it's just more so like AG looked and Jamal looked like kind of quick.
Career high 8 dunks in a single game is good evidence that the injury is subsided. On the other side, Nikola Jokic, the big fella.
Oh boy.
Shout out to our friends over at Bet365. Bet365 is an official partner of the Denver Nuggets and Colorado Avalanche. Bet365, it is the app that we here at DNVR, we use to bet. And if you tune into our pregame show, we'll be back Saturday morning.
Yeah, I did.
1 o'clock. We'll be live from one of these studios.
Dev is going to instruct you to bet Jokic points.
A lot on the line for Dev. First game of the playoffs. He's got.
Yeah, is he back?
He's got to set the tone. I just know he's got to set the tone in this game 1. He'll have your pregame bets for you on Bet365, an official partner of the Denver Nuggets and Colorado Avalanche. They have an early payout offer for the NBA. They've also got tons of other, props, boosts, whatever. Keep your eye out for some custom DNVR boosts these playoffs.
What?
Nuggets and Avs. Right now at Bet365, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, you can sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spread, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Is that a leak in the new studio? Is it?
Oh.
Is that a leak? Oh, I'm just kidding, Kale. Just messing with you. It's not. But if it was, I know who I would call.
Kale panic.
He's just, son of a bitch.
Don't worry, Kale. If there is a leak, we're not sending you up there. We're going to go with the pros. We're going to send our friends at Red Hawk Roofing.
I'd send Kale up first.
Up to the roof. Well, Kale, we're going to make you go for the content bullying dynamic, but then to make
It's
sure.
still leaking, Kale. What are you doing up there?
Yeah. But then to really make sure you did the job right, we'll send the pros from Red Hawk Roofing up there. Best roofers. They joined the DNVR team a long time ago. You guys know that. They sponsor watch parties, big takeaways. They advertise on all these shows. And now you guys probably see that they're all over the place. They're making it big time.
I heard that Red Hawk Roofing is going to be on the ice at Avs games.
What?
In the ice?
I can't. Enough of this.
Yeah. These guys are out of control.
We gotta start negging these guys
I
during their
know.
own ad read.
Honestly,
Like they're
they're
getting a little too big for their britches.
cool.
Dude.
If you're trying
Come
to figure
on.
out how, if you're trying to figure out how they became just so popular, it's these long-lasting relationships that matter to them with their customers. They could come in, they could try to cheap you out of $1, but that would affect their local reputation, and the latter means far more to them than the former. They want to take care of you. They want you to go back to them for any job, no matter how big or small. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921. Tell them DNVR sent you.
All right, back here, segment 3, DNVR Nuggets Podcast. So now let's get to Jokic. Central question I have for him, the central one: can he dominate Zubats?
Yes.
Not
Next
just,
question.
and you mentioned it already, the fouling and out. He's only fouled out twice this year. Against Denver, the most he had was 4. So I think that one is not like Nurkic, where you're just like, he'll for sure foul him out. It's just 20 minutes or 28 minutes. So I don't know about that one, but I also think the Clippers are going to say, Zubats will guard him well enough that we don't need to double every time. We'll just double sometimes. And if Jokic can break through that to where that's not an option, that's, to me, kind of an important battleground in this.
Yeah, they're going to try to make Jokic score, and he's going to score.
He will oblige.
And then they're going to adjust, probably. Yeah. That's at least what I think will happen. That's how I think the Clippers will open game 1. They'll guard him one-on-one. Jokic will score, and then they'll adjust from there. But, I mean, Zubats is a smart defender. He's big. He's 7 feet. He's physical. He's tough. He's strong. So he's got more of a shot at that than, say, a Nurkic or a DeAndre Ayton. I don't know why I'm just naming Trailblazer centers. Or even an Anthony Davis. Yeah, I think he has a better shot than Davis even, just because he's stronger.
See, AD to
and
me...
he's tougher.
AD to me represents why you should always believe in Jokic, because I still think AD is like a near-perfect defender.
But he's not tough enough, man. He falls over every play.
There's a lot of that, the transition, where I don't think you're going to get Zubats as much.
But I mean, AD is also this nightmare help side defender, right? I think Zubats, you're looking at a guy who I think statistically, traditionally, has been pretty formidable against Jokic one-on-one.
Yeah, I was just talking one-on-one, Zubats.
Yeah, and I agree with you, which is why some of the stuff we were talking about earlier, how creative, is it just put Jokic on the block? Is it adjust? Obviously, I don't want the most basic other thing you could try is pick and rolls, but Jokic on the move, right? Jokic has a cutter. Guys who have traditionally done a good job stationary defending Jokic or the double team. So when Jokic starts cutting and getting on the move, to me, that was a big part of his MVP, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys were like, crap, I got to be ready for this now, too. So I think it'll probably be about not just sticking him on the block and saying dominate. Put him in advantageous positions as well. Put Zubats in disadvantageous positions.
Yeah.
What about this one, D-Line? Will he shoot the 3 well?
Jokic, I mean, he has been.
It's kind of fallen, though, as the years
But
gone
I mean,
on.
he was shooting with
50%.
98% earlier from the year. In the last several games, I mean, it's been falling for him. He was being dared to shoot it, and he was happy to oblige that as well. I think has all the confidence in the world shooting the ball right now. Definitely. I really do think, they're going to try and draw Zubats out, and then they're going to take it to him. And like that, it's going to be so interesting to see how Jokic attempts to torment Ivica Zubats, and because he has every way to do it. And I agree with you, Win. He's just stout. He's just like a big guy. He's really enjoying a big boost too lately. Everyone's like, man,
everybody's loving Zubats.
They're
he hasn't been, though. I mean, he's leveled up, and he was always a good fundamental player. But now it's he's skilled.
But it is funny. He's been in the league for 20 years, and everyone's he was just a toss in. The Lakers just couldn't wait to get rid of him, and the Clippers just had him, and now he's all of the Clippers in general are just
having a moment.
They're absolutely having a moment. It's funny. They have their moment at the beginning of the season when everyone's hey man, watch those Clippers. Hey, you better watch those Clippers. And now this is the annual Clipper love fest. But I don't know. It is going to be interesting because Zubats is super strong, and he does have really he has a huge wingspan also, which is makes it difficult for Jokic to get around him with some of his post moves. But at the end of the day, what are we talking about here?
We're gonna talk about Jokic's defense.
Well, this is my next one. Is can the Clippers make him uncomfortable defensively? That's how I framed it.
So I think this is a great series for Jokic defensively because they don't have any stretch bigs for him to guard.
Yeah, the stretch part is good, although the rolling big is tough too. I mean,
I just think Jokic's going to have to expend a lot less energy defensively in this series than he would in other playoff matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Zubats doesn't really leave the paint. He's not going to be shooting threes. And I think there are other targets that the Clippers are going to go after in switches before Jokic. So I'm actually pretty enthusiastic about how he can fare defensively in this matchup. I feel like it's a pretty good one for him.
Maybe he can live and drop more too.
Definitely.
Just say, hey, you want to take those middies.
Yeah.
we're okay with that. You know, we can score twos as efficiently as anyone else.
Yeah, and Zubats will score on him.
100%.
He will. That will be Dev's first bet of every night, of every game. But again, like you were saying with the Kawhi mid-rangers, that's not why you're going to lose the series.
Right. Which is why, to me, particularly, this is about Jokic defense when I bring it up. Like, I am more scared of James Harden in this series than Kawhi. Not because Kawhi is not good or anything like that at all. I just think the Nuggets can trade their tough twos with Kawhi's tough twos. James Harden pick and rolls, putting the Nuggets in rotation where they have been, as far as teams that are any good, by far the worst defense in the league in that when rotating. So to me, it's like, yeah, Kawhi wants to cook. That's fine. James Harden pick and rolls. That's more concerning to me.
We're also like, don't discount also. We are in defensive season for Nikola Jokic. Like, he's actually going to play defense.
This I agree with.
We're going to actually see him start to play defense. He'll put his arms up.
Well, one area where the defense will be challenging, Zubats led the NBA this year in offensive rebounds. Total. Not per game, but total.
That's scary.
And I think that's one of the areas where Jokic, one of his defensive strengths is defensive rebounding. And now he goes up against a guy whose strength is offensive rebounding, not necessarily from athleticism or anything else. He does it the same way Jokic does. He anticipates, he's there early, and he has good hands. So I think Jokic actually does. I almost disagree with you, Wind, in that I think this will be easy for him. I think the default way they like to play is easy for him. A little more ISO heavy, work from the elbows. But I think that they are going to try to adjust their own strategy. Maybe not in game one, but as the series goes on, to spread it out a little more, put the ball in Harden's hands, and to make Jokic have to do exactly what we're talking about. Step out on the perimeter, recover all the way to the block, and then fight for rebounding against a good rebounder.
The rebounding portion is scary because the Nuggets have been such a bad defensive rebounding team. Just so inconsistent. Some nights are like, oh, there's the Nuggets. And one of their staples during the championship year was they were an unbelievable rebounding team. And there were nights this year where we were just like, what are you guys doing?
I know.
Like, you got four guys under the rim, and Amen Thompson swoops in for a rebound.
This is the tough part. Is there's so many of the holes the Nuggets have shown throughout this year are just effort stuff, and you're just like, I don't know if it's just an effort problem. It most assuredly could be, but you don't. It's like, I don't know how to look at this. Like, are they worse now? Are they not talking? Is this like a connection thing? Are they not trying? I mean, especially now the way that the season is shaken out, where they removed the head coach. They really thought that there was big culture issues. You look back on some of those things where, okay, maybe guys just straight up were not trying that night. They just weren't into it. But it doesn't seem like they should be at a disadvantage on either of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here, you guys ready for the stakes? This is kind of a big one. Here are the stakes for Jokic in the playoffs.
He could become the GOAT.
Well, I was going to say a great deep playoff run, but if we just talk about this series, this would be a big one for him because a lot of people are picking the Clippers. And this is a 50-win team. We all have heard that narrative before.
Oh, baby.
A 50-win team, which would be nice.
Well, so if the Nuggets win, will it just be they haven't beat a 50-plus win team?
51 have never beat a 51 win
that's
team.
Won more than 50 games.
That's what I would do to the Celtics right away.
That's a new narrative. I already gave it to you.
Fair is fair. Fair is fair.
But you don't have to thank me.
But I do think it would be an important one because it would be amongst they have one series where they entered as underdogs. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're underdogs actually technically at the Vegas book for this one.
I think it might have flipped.
So now they are. The early money came out. But either way, it's close. But
I better know what it is on ESPN bet.
So I think it would be a big one for him, narrative in a positive direction to win. But the flip side of it is, if they lose, after losing in Game 7 on your home court last year, losing in the first round, I believe Jokic will be put into the Giannis box. Does anybody doubt that Giannis is good enough to be the best player or in the best conversation? But he's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I think this would happen to Jokic sincerely next year, is that they'd be like, we all know he's great. They win 60 games. They're like, we all know he's great, but
you just have to earn it all over again.
And you kind of do. Like, that's just the nature of the beast.
Or, alternatively, the national media starts going, does Jokic deserve something better in a way that hasn't happened?
Started
but I think it would really, really heat up.
It would ramp up.
I mean, to be fair to everybody, we've done that with Giannis. I mean,
I was doing that yesterday.
No, that's what we're worried about. That's the exact same scenario.
Yeah, totally. They're like, man, get Jokic out of Denver.
But Giannis could actually leave. Jokic would never.
I know. Jokic is like, I don't want to leave. They're like, you got to go.
You're right, though, because I was so far on the Luke is the second best player train. What's the stat line Giannis put up? Like
Dude,
in
insane.
regulation?
Yeah, insane.
He had like the 30, 20, 35, 25, 15. I was like, this guy's actually still pretty good, man.
Pretty dope.
Pretty good.
So I think the stakes for Jokic, and really even more so for Jokic, he doesn't care. For us, are so high because the conversation around Jokic next year, it's one of those things where nothing that will happen in the regular season will matter in the big story because they'll be like, is that the guy lost in the first round last year? It's like,
To the Clippers.
to the Clippers. So
Dude,
stakes,
say that
narrative
stuff.
stakes, kind of high. Let's take another break here on the other side.
Dude, I
wanna
kind of want a steak, man.
I know, me
I'm
too.
hungry.
Yeah, but on the other side, I want to talk about this peek into Jokic's leadership style.
Oh, okay.
You guys go with me on
A
it.
peek.
Little peek.
Guys, Volo Sports is Denver's most popular provider of adult social sports leagues, pickup games, and events. And they have every sport you could think of. You know, basketball, soccer, volleyball, pickleball, kickball, cornhole, many more as well. They have leagues all over the city. You know, no matter where you are in Denver, there is a league close to you. They got one right over there, City Park. Everybody plays kickball, then comes over to the DNVR bar. Yeah, right.
It's that one.
It is that way.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah, there we go. We got it.
New studio's throwing me off.
I know,
man.
dude. Like you've lost.
I'm so disoriented.
You
right now.
you have nothing in common with a pigeon.
Yeah.
No.
They play at City Park.
Yes.
And then everybody just comes to the DNVR bar and plays beer pong and
Yeah.
flip cup, and it's like
The real
it's
competition
like
begins.
a frat house. It's like a raucous environment in here, man. It's crazy. But Volo's an awesome time. Meet new people, make friends, be social, stay or get more active in a fun way. Mix up your after work routine too. Players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or full team, and all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome to join. Use code DNVR10 for $10 off any Volo Denver league.
Which nugget do you think is the best at
Jokic.
beer pong?
Beer pong?
Jokic.
Yeah, okay,
Jokic, Christian
Or
Braun.
Murray.
Christian Braun, I would nominate.
Well, he's probably
yeah,
played
dude.
the most beer
That's
pong.
what I'm saying. Christian Braun, I would think,
Dude,
is probably better on the
Christian,
block.
like,
I think
He
Jokic
used to
never
run
played
tables.
it,
I just
but
know
is
it.
also the best.
but would also never miss a
but
shot.
Christian Braun, I could see him like at a party.
Oh, I don't
he's
know.
the-
Kansas?
That's what I mean. And he's the guy that's actually just drinking while playing because he's like, I know I'm not going to be able to drink, waiting on you guys to sink a shot.
Just like your favorite team needs home court advantage. And by the way, this is a tight series with the Clippers and the
Tight,
Nuggets.
tight, tight.
But the Nuggets did, in fact, get home court advantage in this series. Your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. This is one of those things where if you haven't shopped for it before, how hard could it be? Once you start, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. We've all been to those big box stores, the endless aisles you're
I
wandering.
don't want to tell you where I went today.
You don't even really know what it's going to look like in your home. But with Empire Today's
Please break.
virtual
Please let him-
floor designer,
Please break.
you can get a good sense of how it will look in your home with your furniture without any costly commitments. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard right. A $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today/DNVR for full details.
All right, back here. I want to talk about Fred Katz's article and really takeaways from Fred Katz's article. You can read it up on The Athletic, but he talked about how Christian Braun is following in Jokic's footsteps, how
Okay.
he has dedicated himself to being
horseman.
close to Jokic. I mean, in some ways, perhaps. And it started, he kind of gives this like early example in his rookie year where they do stretches. And, you know, young players are just kind of like goofing off for stretches because they're young and you don't really need to stretch when you're young. And Jokic pulled him aside, like literally physically grabbed his mat and was like, from now on, every day you're going to do it right next to me.
Dang.
Because I'm going to show you that this is ritual. Oh, you don't need to stretch? It's not about the stretch. It's about the ritual and the habit and the consistency that you build, even in the small things, which will become part of the story in the large things. We've heard this conceptually, by the way, just the idea of like why Jokic likes routine. But it is the ritual to me. And this, to me, we know about Jokic, lead by example is how we reduce this, right? But Jokic seems to not really ask others to follow him. Like, it's not even like, hey, I'm just going to lead by example, just kind of pay attention. He actually doesn't even do that. But I think the way he moves makes people want to. And that's what we're seeing. Not everyone. And in that way, he's not just building chemistry with his teammates. He's sort of building this continuity of identity in the team. And that's what I would say is when you read these stories, there's stories with Bruce Brown, Christian Braun, Monte Morris, Isaiah Hartenstein, all guys who are like...
Had to throw Hartenstein in there.
Come on, man. He was watching Yoke. He was watching Yoke.
For what, 3 months?
I'm just saying he's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty well.
In a good seat.
I mean, but I do remember this from when Hartenstein was here that he was kind of obsessed. He was kind of obsessed with Jokic.
I'm sure he was, yeah.
And I just think that there is this magnetism to Jokic that if you're made of anything, including drive, you probably look at it and are like, I'm just going to copy what he's doing because it clearly works. And I think that's Jokic's power, is that he almost sucks people into his orbit. Yeah. Not everyone, but he sucks people into his orbit. And that's what, to me, it almost like is the best distillation of his leadership.
He's do as I do, not as I say. He doesn't say anything. He just does. Yeah. He is truly, how foolish would you be to have a guy like Nikola Jokic? You see everything he's doing. You're like, oh, that's cool. And then you just go home and play video games.
I mean, plenty of people do that.
Lots and lots of people do, but it is wild. Yes. But it is, it's wild to just have a guy that just does the right thing all the time. And you're just like, how do I get better? You're like, oh, well, just do what he's doing.
Yeah.
I also think it's Christian Braun taking a page out of Aaron Gordon's book.
100%.
What are we even talking about? Who wants to stick around? Who's on board? Who's a part of this team long term? What is the single easiest, most efficient way to do that in Denver? Aaron Gordon was traded here. He said, what does 15 do? I'm doing that.
Yeah. What does he expect?
What does he do? What does he expect? What is his routine? What is his approach? How do I get on that level? And first of all, it's going to make you a better player, but it's also a career bet of like, yeah, I would like to stay here. I want to be one of Jokic's right-hand men. And look, Jokic and Christian have gotten close this season. That is an emerging narrative from this season. I think it started with this stuff first of just Christian kind of going, I get it. I'm with you. In a literal sense, I will be right here, right next to you.
Yeah.
And this is what's so great about it. And whether it's AG, whether it's Bruce Brown, whether it's Christian Braun, every teammate who draws closer to Jokic seems to rise from drawing closer to him. And what I like is he doesn't necessarily demand anything of them, although in some ways he does. But by being near him, you start to demand it of yourself. And that's why I think his leadership, when we say he leads by example, I don't think that undersells it. He almost leads through inspiration. The closer you get to him, the more you want to be him. And this is where I get really philosophical, because you guys know I love this. The game is a spiritual game. I've said this many times. Jokic does seem to think that the consistency with which he does it is ritual. It's almost like that is his church and that is his Hail Marys. And like he's doing those things not because of, it's like this is the ritual part of the spiritual aspect of this game to me. And what I like about it is it's transformative without being dramatic. But what I like is he's not really teaching Christian how to play basketball. He's showing how to live like someone who respects the game.
Yep.
And that's why it's even more powerful. He's learning the sacred geometry all through quiet observation and repetition.
Yeah, face of the league type stuff, I would think. But apparently not. Something about Jokic, and you just said this for the last 5 minutes, is his routine and ritual. I've never seen anybody like it. Yeah, everybody has, their game day routine, their pregame routine, their handshakes and whatnot. I feel like Jokic's routine and rituals are at a completely different level. Just from where he stands during every starting lineup introduction, under the basket, holding a towel in the exact same pose.
Yeah.
Like what he does when a game ends. Puts his mouth guard in his sock. Like it's so crazy how specific he is about his routine. Everybody in the NBA does it. I've never seen people do it as specifically as he does it, though.
Jokic talks about it. He talks about the basketball gods. He looks at this as something that is larger than a game, and he looks at it as something that is to be respected, and he looks at it as, in your words, but I believe he would agree, a spiritual sense. Like there is something larger at play here. Whatever it might be, however trivial and trite it might be to look at basketball in this way, like Jokic most assuredly adheres to the ideas that you have to approach the game in the right way in all aspects at all times, and you'll be rewarded for it. And it's been shown that, that is the case, whether or not you want to, however you want to look at it, like there's something to it. It's just like being intentional about your actions and repeatable, and, especially when you're working in the context of a team, like being able to just be somebody that people know what they are going to get from you all the time.
Discipline,
Absolutely.
too. And it's like with the Murray stuff last year with the pressers, there's something to Jokic hates the pressers too, man.
Yes, he does.
Oh, I love this.
But he shows up and he does them in a certain way. Yeah. Whether you like his answer to your question or not, mate, whether you wish he was a little more enthusiastic as a person.
Yeah.
There is this is my job part of it that he's really sort of glommed onto. And again, I'm not trying to make it out like we're the most important part. My point is it's all a part of the same thing. It's this big
respecting the whole thing.
Yes, you are not above it. Practice and discipline. And it's one way to lead by example, right? Because if the big fella's not above it, then you cannot be above it. And, we've heard this, like, that's how they talk about LeBron James, right? Like anyone who's ever played with him will say that stuff. And in the very beginning, Jokic was a little more aloof, but I think the guy we cover now is this kind of a guy.
I know.
His routine is sacred to him. His professionalism has leveled up. And, he'll never say this. He doesn't reflect this way, but he is twice as serious a person as he was when he got
He's
here.
no longer pausing his game to be here.
Yeah,
And it almost feels, he's Orthodox, right, by religion, but I think also by culture in some aspects, as most Serbs are. But there's almost this sense of like a monastery feel to the ritualness of it, of like, this is how we prepare the water, and then we walk gently to our mats.
Sure.
And then it's like, well, are we getting to the part where we reflect yet? No, because the process is part of the reflection. We are setting ourselves up, and it's just, that's how it reads to me with Yoke. And the last thing I'll say
Did
here,
you know Yoke's driven the same car to the game for the last 5 years?
Does not surprise me, right? Because this is all part of this.
He's driven the same car.
Yeah.
I participated in Orthodox Christmas, and
very traditional.
Lot of rituals.
Exactly. Last thing here, because I just think it's interesting. One thing that stood out to me from this piece was we all know Yoke communicates with his eyes, with nods, with little gestures, and apparently even with sounds, because in this one, Bruce Brown gave this anecdote about how he learned that if he calls for the ball while cutting, Yoke hears the sound and will blindly throw it to the sound. So if you're on the move, he throws it to the wrong spot. So he's learned that if I'm about to cut, don't make a sound. and then that, people are like, oh my God, he's using sonar. But this is where it's actually interesting. Maybe he is, but here's what's interesting.
He's Batman, bro.
But here's what's interesting to me. We talk a lot about how Yoke is not that great at English, although he's gotten way better over the years. Basketball is sort of the language for him. And this is what's interesting is his communication is physical. It's like in all of these different ways. And there's something just kind of beautiful of that, of like the guy who doesn't talk still takes all of these context clues beyond language.
It's so amazing, man. Something so cool about the leadership thing you were talking about is like he's presenting it in a way where it's like, oh, you can come with me and, follow me and pick up my rituals and my routine. It's right here. I'm showing you everything I do. Like, you can do it if you want. And if you don't, whatever. Like, you're lost.
Get stuffed.
Yeah, and it's interesting the players that you mentioned that have adopted, the Jokic rituals.
I do feel like when I wonder and hope for, to be honest, as much as I appreciate what we're describing, is an evolution to not like get lost. I won't let us lose you. But
I don't know if that's there, honestly. That's part of why I'm because you're right that there could be maybe a different style, but his style is almost not to reach for it.
It just felt like in the last 3 games it was a bit more proactive, is all I would say. And I think that's a welcome evolution from Jokic, to be honest.
I think you're right, because there is eventually he has to step outside of that sometimes and reach for it. But I'm saying that his essence is almost not reaching for it, but drawing people to it.
Right.
But it is going to take both. There's no one perfect thing.
Right.
Just kind of of an interesting thing. I like getting philosophical every now and then. And reading that, I was like, you know what? I kind of get it.
This is the philosophy cave, dude. This is like Philosopher's Stone in here. We're just getting in here and getting deep as hell. On the lounge, all we can come up with is all the Nuggets are good. And that's dumb,
I know.
dude.
We just like talk about emojis.
Now we're like,
here
is
we're deep in
Jokic on a?
philosophy.
Does he exist on a higher plane?
If you want to stick around for overtime, we're going to break down the allegory of the cave. So
Oh,
don't
yeah,
go
dude.
anywhere.
Oh,
We
it's gonna
actually
be
are
so
going to head to
sick.
overtime now. So if you're on the Fast Channel, we're going to read Super Chats unencumbered by the restrictions of the
dude, yeah.
communication board. Oh, there's only 2?
That's perfect.
We
Perfect
could
time.
have probably got that in.
2 fucking super fucking chats.
This one comes from Josh Bonnet from down under, Australian mate. That's it, right?
That
5:30 a.m. Easter Sunday, the rebirth of Jamal.
Let's go.
Pregnant man, prayer hands. Let's go.
Crazy how Australia's going to watch that game in a different day of the week than we are. I don't know.
He has risen.
Kyle M. Hey, new studio. Studio K.
Yeah, it's not Studio B. We've learned we cannot call it Studio A.
Right.
Studio B.
Perfect.
What about now? Can you hear me
Perfect
now?
way to end the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've learned we cannot call it Studio A and Studio B because
Right.
those who are in Studio B feel slighted.
Yeah.
It's important for you too. Do not disparage.
What should we call this studio?
Shout out to producer B. I mean Kale.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. This is either we
is our
might call
LinkedIn
this
producer.
we might call this the cave. We might call this the podcast studio. We might call it. Who knows?
Give us suggestions. Let us know in the
Yeah.
in the
We
description.
just we might call it the beauty lounge.
Another off day show
don't think
tomorrow,
we'll call it
guys. Should be a great one because it is the last one before the playoffs get underway.
That's crazy, man.
I know.
Let's do it.
Thanks
Let's
for
do
hanging
it.
out. Hit that like button on the way out.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.